We're live now.
Live.
All right, guys.
Hello, hello.
All right. I mean, why should we be late? Let's start the whole show, I say. So everyone who's already here, welcome to Scompler webinar. A special one for us. This will be our most visited session yet. So everybody who's already here, thank you. Thank you for showing up. Not just to see what we've built, but to rethink with us what AI should do for communication. Because at Scompler, we don't just hit launch, we challenge the hype. As you know, we design for strategy and we ask the real question, what can AI actually do to make communication better? So now I have to a little problem here, just says introduce speakers, and I haven't prepared anything yet, so bear with me. I have to go to Scompler AI real quick. Here we have our webinar, and I have to get a little help. Sorry. Draft intro for speakers, make it witty, I say. All right, then we can move on with the show, I guess, when Scompler AI might help me. Great. Okay, let's move on. Sorry for the little hiccup. I'm thrilled. Oh, let me show the people again. I'm thrilled to introduce Erik, who develops products people actually use. Imagine that. And Ilya, who convinced our AI to be a strategic team player rather than just another content factory. And between Erik's customer intuition and Ilya's AI wizardry, they've built something that thinks before it speaks. I'm the counterpart then. My name is Max, and I'm just glad and proud to host this webinar. So what will you see today? You hopefully learn today. We'll start with the big picture, where communication stands today and where AI fits in. Then we'll show you how we thought about AI and how we built Scompler AI differently. The heart of today is our demo, real comms use cases, and Scompler AI in action. And after that, we'll share a glimpse ahead, because today is just the beginning for us, for Scompler, and maybe we've got a little something for you. And finally, we want to leave time for your questions in a dedicated Q&A session in the end, but also in between. Let's see about the timing. Please use the Q&A function within this webinar environment. You find it on the right side. There you also find a chat function where our colleague Alina is greeting you as well. But let's not waste any time and jump right into today's topic. And to understand where we stand today and where communication needs to go, we've looked at 4 of the most relevant and recent reports, but emblematic for the findings of the whole year. Each one brings a different lens, but together they tell quite a clear story, I'd say. So let's start with this one right here. Nearly all communication teams now use AI in one form or another, but very few feel strategically ready for it. Budgets, skills, governance lag behind, so AI is present in the workflow, yet the foundations to use it responsibly and at scale are still missing. This creates a growing readiness gap. Teams experiment, but they struggle to translate these experimentations into real capability and impact. Across industries, by the way, the same pattern shows up. Almost every organization is using AI somewhere, but only a minority has managed to scale it into consistent, embedded processes. Most teams are stuck in pilots or isolated use cases that never become part of the operating model. So the big blockers here are not technology, they are missing processes, unclear governance, and a lack of integration. That's why AI often creates these pockets of activity, but not actual transformation. At the same time, the communication environment itself is getting more complex. Generational expectations diverge, values shift faster, stakeholders demand clarity, coherence, and alignment across channels and touch points. And this rising complexity increases the pressure on communication functions to operate with more structure and strategic discipline. But without a coherent framework, AI cannot amplify communication. It simply accelerates the noise. And finally, even as organizations adopt more AI tools, their overall digital maturity is actually declining, as has been shown. Technology is evolving faster than teams can adapt, and integration remains superficial. Data use is weak, and smaller teams risk falling behind entirely. This makes it clear the core challenge isn't more AI, it's the lack of structure, governance, and capability needed to use it effectively. So, where does this all point to? Communication is reaching the limits of what teams can manage manually. This is clear. AI is accelerating possibilities, but without a strategic operating model, organizations can turn that potential into value. This is a coordination challenge. The next step is not more AI experiments, but a structured way to align people, processes, data, and AI into one coherent system. And that's the transformation comms and marketing need to unlock. And these findings all over this year are what we thought about and how we thought about AI. And then we tackled AI in our own way. And this is what Erik's now going to talk about. Hi, Erik.
Hey, thank you very much. Yes, so I want to give you a quick glimpse through the keyhole how we created Scompler AI that thinks like a strategist, creates like a pro, and collaborates like a colleague. So when the AI hype hit, the message everywhere was basically build something with AI fast. And we decided not to fall into this trap of activism and instead to develop an AI that understands why it writes and not just how to write. And because the real problem, as you see in communication, is alignment and clarity and not typing speed. And going fast isn't difficult, but navigating in the right direction at the same time is. But we also made important learnings on our way to that. Our first version of Scompler AI had simple AI editing features. They saved time of our users, but they did not move communication impact. What showed us without strategic context, AI stays generic and replaceable and is also missing its purpose. And to leverage its power, it has to be integrated end to end into your workflow without switching the tools. Yes, so, but how does Scompler AI think like a strategist? Two things. On the left-hand side, you see the Gen AI triangle. It shows what matters, the model, the prompt, and the context to get the best possible result out of that. So AI only works when these elements are combined in the right way. To remember that in a better way, I've an analogy for you. So the model equals a cooking machine, the technology. The prompt equals the recipe, the instructions you are giving it. And the context equals the ingredients, the data. And if one of these is missing or weak, you may have the best cooking machine, but you will still cooking packet soup. And we anchored Scompler AI in what Scompler already does best, strategy. Scompler is the single source of truth for topics, personas, narrative goals, and the AI uses this cookbook as its context. These strategic boundaries are built into the generation process and enable the AI to explain its thinking, highlight gaps, and adapt as your strategy evolves. But coming back to an integrated solution in one flow, this shows our end-to-end flow. The strategic direction guides everything at the start, and measurable impact proves value at the end. Those are your foundations. We are focusing on the middle three pillars today: story and article suggestions, content creation optimization, and custom styles. You will hear more about them in the demo. But overall, generic AI gives you generic results. Scompler AI knows your strategy, knows your brand voice, and your audience. It understands your campaigns, your goals, your narrative elements. It's the difference between a tool and a team member who's read every brief and attended every strategy meeting. And because it's built into your workflow, there is no shadow AI, no context switching, no copy pasting, no struggle that the output matches your needs. You work where you always work, with your entire context, and the AI comes to you, not the other way around.
That's my key word. Thank you, Erik. Thank you for presenting how we thought about AI and how Scompler AI was developed. But now let's get to it. Let's bring AI to you. That's why you're here. Let's show what it is capable of. And let's dive right into a Scompler project, which we have here. Most of you, when I look at the attendees, know what Scompler is and how a platform works, but have a real short introduction. Scompler, platform for strategic communication management. Here you see a project for a fictitious automotive company, Velocity Motors or V Motors, and here you have the topics displayed, the topic architecture with topic areas, the big things here, and you have your topics, both building the strategic framework of your communication. In which areas do we want to communicate? And how does this affect our stakeholders, our customers, for example? Then we have stories, the story level, which have a descriptive title and a fixed time frame and strategic attributes so that you can decide what you want to communicate. And then also you have the tactical execution with formats in the different channels. So now, and obviously we have other views, we have a calendar view, we have reportings and so on. But today we want to focus on Scompler AI. And now imagine you are in the external communication team at Velocity Motors, and you're responsible for the global launch of the new Electra Vision, the flagship model, the new flagship model of Velocity Motors. And within this topic, you now want to tell a story. You have some stories already here, but you want to tell a new story because you're in the middle of the campaign and you want to tell how this new flagship model has been built smarter, cleaner, more sustainable, a sustainability story within this campaign. Now we want to use Scompler AI to turn that idea into a structured and clear story idea within the project that later can be activated across channels. And to do that, I'm going to use Scompler AI, and with me to explain what I'm doing, because he really does know it better, and to explain how the AI, how Scompler AI is functioning. Ilya is with us today. Hi, Ilya.
Hi, Max.
So now here, please go on.
I can already start explaining gradually. So as you might have noticed already, but definitely you will later on, you see that our AI lives within a specific context. So it understands what you're working with right now, what's happening. During the demo and with our initial start, you'll see that it lives within our three key objects, which is topic, story, and article. But later on, of course, it will appear in all other areas of our product gradually. So what it can do, you won't see it directly, but you will see it from the results that it provides. It can gather information about the object itself. So the object data, this is like the foundation, the core foundation for any generation or any work that you are doing with AI. And also it has access to the project data. Project data creates a wider context, also for the purposes of alignment and to avoid duplication, for example. But together they work quite well to allow our AI to understand what's happening and what's required from it, and in what context it should operate.
And just to say one thing, we're starting with a rather specific case here. We're going into more general cases later on, but this is a specific case. We want to have this specific sustainability story. So I uploaded a briefing right now and prompted the Scompler AI to do something, and now I've got this result.
Yeah, sure. So what it does, one step back, if to say one step back, in all its interactions, it understands, so it first analyzes your intent. And based on how it understands your intent, it launches different tools that it has to, or workflows that it also has internally. And one of the key concepts that you will see everywhere, it will analyze the data. So basically, if you're working with a story, it will analyze the completeness of your story, provide you suggestions, identify you with information gaps. So basically some sort of gap analysis. And then, yeah, so if you can read while we're speaking, then you will also see that. And then it also kind of consults with you in terms of, would you like to change something, to add more details, to correct the understanding of the model, right? So if it understood you correctly, or if it needs additional context, then you can, yes, you can continue either by like UI or via just typing something directly in the language form. Yeah, so or if the intent that you have that you have submitted is related to creating an object, it will also launch a quite an elaborate internal workflow of how this object should be created. So in this scenario, we asked it to create a story idea with a specific input. So we had some sort of understanding what the story is or what a campaign might be. And it understood that it now needs to create ideas for the story, and it launched this workflow. Within this workflow, it also is doing quite a bit of analysis and also explains its steps. So why it created a specific story, what is good or bad in it. So it basically assesses the outcome also and provides you with a UI to kind of check mid-process what's happening. So you see that this is like a blueprint, let's say so, of a potential object that can be created. So you see there's like descriptions, raw description, full descriptions. If you have the content models or classes, personas, it also checked your strategic parameters, which can be whatever, goals, on the audience, target audience parameters, any strategic parameters you have. And it also selected something. So you see that 5 parameters were selected. And then you can make a decision if you want to proceed with this idea and create it directly from this interface. You can create, if you like them all, for sure you can create them all. But if you want, you can create specific ones. Yeah, in below it will do this outcome assessment. So why it selected those stories specifically, what is good about them, how it follows the strategy, how it supports it. So basically, if you want just even to consult with it, it will give you some interesting information or some additional angles of understanding why it did its job the way it did it. By default, it will generate you 7 stories unless you provide a more specific number. Maximum, I think, is maximum is 10. But if you provide, let's say, a specific number, it will give you a specific number. And so the final step here would be to actually create a story. Create a story. It is the workflow is integrated, so you can already see, and you can even click the link and open it directly from this interface. So this is the new story, and you already see that, yes, it has the personas selected, the content models, it has the description, everything is transferred. So basically, the new rich object is created, and you can continue your ideation process further with this particular story or any other one. What is also good is that you see, so definitely all the chat history is stored within this object, and you can, if you're not certain at the moment, you can always return to the chat.
Let me show that.
Yeah, sure. So you can always return to the chat.
Back at the topic, and here's the chat, and here's the prior chat.
Yeah, so and you can always find these ideas that were generated before, and you can continue working with them, create. So the work that you have done does not disappear. It will always stay. You can always get back to it. This is the wide screen. If there is like a lot of information that you need to read, maybe this will be a more convenient format to get acquainted with a lot of textual information. So yes, so basically this is kind of the core idea. So if we look at it from a higher level, and maybe just to summarize a little bit, our system will definitely load the data. It will analyze the data. It will create objects and explain its decisions. So you have transparency and you have understanding how to further then influence and develop your ideas.
So great. From my standpoint as a communicator now, Scompler AI helped me to come up with with several specific story ideas already coming with description, with strategic attributes, with personas attached to them. I created one specific story, this one here we're seeing right now, already with the description and with strategic attributes and also personas attached. So it is enriched and enhanced and ready to go on now.
Yeah, sure. So basically the idea behind generating article ideas within a specific story, overall, the principles are the same. For sure, what is different is some specific background information that this particular scenario or this particular tool set has, like in addition to or in extension of the other parameters. For example, in this specific scenario, it also loads the data of the available content types in your project, also the channels, and what is interesting, it integrates all the information it has to then develop like a coherent communication, let's say so, strategy for that particular story. So it's not just a list of some content types or some articles. It deliberately takes into account everything you have within your object. So the more precise data you have in your, let's say, story, if you have particular goals, communication goals, business goals, limitations, restrictions, audience profiles and characteristics, anything that is really valuable for and specific for this particular story, the more actionable results you will have. So it will take into account your timeline for the story, even to an extent potential publication, like better publication times or more efficient publication times. A combination of content types from what you have in your project that is more efficient to achieve your goals for this particular story. So it will integrate all the data to provide you with a set of article ideas. Same approach here. So by default, it's going to be 7, maximum 10. But you can of course iterate. So you can do one more time, and you have another 7. It will also take into account the stories that already exist, the articles that already exist in the story, to avoid duplication and to enhance already existing communication plan. And yeah, so basically it will optimize for a lot of information. And also explain, as you have seen, Max shown it. It will explain the portfolio strategy and the outcome. It will assess what, why, how, and you also can continue further with directly creating these objects.
I'm now going into one article as well. Thanks for explaining so far. I think we've seen how Scompler AI thinks like a strategist, creates like a pro, and collaborates like a colleague. We have the specific case in the beginning. Now we're kind of just using what's in our project. And again, we can do this for the text or the copy of an article. Now we're in, for example, within a LinkedIn update post, which is already brief. There is a description what this post should be about within the story, within the topic that we tackled right here. And now I could use Scompler AI again to generate copy, right?
Yeah, sure. So just maybe one thing to notice, to mention, is that for sure it's an article idea. So in real life, you might want to additionally work on it, not just directly continue with text creation. You might want to validate it with your colleagues, maybe do some tweaking here and there, maybe change some parameters or like strategic parameters or some tactical goals or maybe some dates or whatever. So definitely you would need first probably to work a little bit on it before you proceed with the actual copy creation. But when you're done, yeah, you can do it either. So our system will work with everything. So if you have already some sort of draft for a text, if you put it in the text field or in the attachment, it will also take into account. Or if you want to start just from scratch, as what Max is demoing right now, for sure it will generate a few, and specifically 3 by default. If you don't ask for anything else, by default, if it will generate you 3 different copy versions using the same approach. Basically, it will analyze all the data you have, validate this information with you, provide you the analysis of the input parameters. It will also take into account the restrictions of a specific network in terms of communication text length, some specific maybe media type restrictions, something like that. So it will take into account all this data to provide you with specific 3 variants. And yeah, by default, they are like one of them is like more balanced one. Another, the second one is more like audience audio-centric, let's say. So the third one would be optimized for like performance, like more engagement, stuff like that.
I love it, Ilya. The questions, by the way, Ilya, the questions are coming in fast, and we will have a Q&A section in the end just to calm everyone. But maybe one question, we kind of tackled it already, but this is an obvious question. Which AI model is used for Scompler AI?
So I would say it like this. So we, by default, our approach is the following. So we look at the tools available in the market. We, of course, we don't want, we want to first understand the problem. And then for this particular problem, we want to select the best tool that is available to us. So at the moment, with the specific set of problems that we are helping you to solve with this first iteration of our MVP, our Scompler AI, we selected 2 model families, one from Anthropic and another one from AWS. And yes, we're using them in pretty complex combination. So it's not just one model. It's a set of models that each of them specifies on their task that it's either good or best at, or by a complex of like parameters. We just want to use that because it's from our perspective it's optimal, right? So a short answer, it's a combination of models, combination of use cases, and combination of like purpose / value / business goal / like quite a lot of factors. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much for answering the question. Now we have seen like the specific case in building, more general ways to create an article or several articles within a story, and then now here the copy for an article in a general way. But let's be more specific to have a final use case here, and let's imagine that we are, let's say, responsible for CEO communication. The CEO of this automotive company of Velocity Motors is our first and most important corporate influencer. Some people may know this use case. And he wants to publish lots of content, and he has already published lots of LinkedIn posts. And now he needs a little ghostwriting help here with the specific article within the sustainability story. He's also quite a character and has its own way of thinking and speaking, and he wants to have that reflected for this copy or for the LinkedIn post, obviously. So how could we go forward now?
Yeah, so for that task, we can use our functionality, which is called custom styles. So yes, to the right of the plus sign. So yeah, you can just enter the style editor and manage styles, then create a style. So what this does is actually we provide the input information to the system, and based on this information, based on this input, it describes and creates the style. So it tries to extract the writing style characteristics from this information and save it in a form that can and will be later used for content generation. So the first things, we have come up to. So basically, you can either just provide it a simple like text examples. Maybe you have a couple of those. You can upload some files also that contain this information, or you can select actual articles that you already have in the system. Maybe you have selected maybe like top 5 that you want, or top 10 that are representative of the information that you think actually quite nicely represent, in this case, writing style, right? And then yes, the system basically will extract this information and try to understand what is common and how it can describe this writing style. And you can check it by clicking, and you can check. So yeah, this is the actual description of this writing style. You can always look through it. First of all, see if it makes sense. See if you want to change something. Maybe you want to tweak. Maybe you want to add some focus points additional here. But basically, this is the explanation, or this is the extraction of a writing style.
Yeah, it totally looks like the communication of the CEO. Unapologetically assertive, punchy sentences. Yeah, that might fit. Yeah. Should we give it a try?
Yeah, so you can then just select this writing style and select, and it will take, after you do that, so for all next generations and for all next communication, it will take this information into account. One thing I should, of course, note is that this is one of the inputs. So you imagine that there are a lot of information that it takes into account, it processes. You can even have some styling instructions or tone instructions submitted as strategy parameters, right? Or also in this case, what I didn't mention before, when you generate a specific article copy, we also check the top performers. So if you have performance data for articles of the same content type, we also extract that information. Try to understand what was interesting, what was particular for those posts that performed the best for this content type. So we also extract that information from them, and then also the writing style. So it takes quite a lot of information and then provides you with version that is tweaked or optimized, and for that with the use of that additional input.
I love it. And it's explained here now. He reframed, or Scompler AI reframed the variant with bold, declarative style, and so on. Obviously, having taken in the custom style, the style of the CEO. And if we look at the prior version and now other version, we have this new version, we have this iteration based on that style. And yeah, let's just use it, I guess. Let's have this article. Oh, I closed the I closed the Scompler AI. I go back to the chat that we just had, and there we have this version for the CEO. And now I can save it also and have it right here, and can now edit it if I want to.
Yes.
Yeah. Or can say, and also can use the AI within the editor. That's something also we could show real quick. It's not so new, but
one thing I want to add is that you see that maybe those who don't like too often work with Scompler, they might not kind of notice that, but in the bottom panel of the text field, you see that there is a limit for LinkedIn post. So it's 3,000 symbols, and you see that it created like 1,643 symbols, right? So it also took into account the length, the maximum length, and also like all other things that I've talked before, so that it fulfills the necessary requirements for this particular network.
I love it. Thanks, Ilya. For now, we've gone through like several use cases, more specific ones, more general ones, showcasing hopefully to everyone how Scompler AI works. Ilya, yes?
Yeah, I just wanted to also to add one more thing. So I see it like, let's say two things. So Scompler AI allows you, if you actually submit the strategic information, this context, if you provide it to the system, it really allows you to operationalize it. And the further we go with the development of AI, because this is just a step one, right? The more we will be able to use this information from different angles. So it will not be just some static data that you submitted to the system. It will actually be something that will be used and reused constantly and taken into account when you're working with AI. Thus, yeah, making it possible for you to make it really operational. This is one thing that I wanted to just to highlight. Another thing is that it's not a limit. So if you don't have this information, or you just start working with our content strategy, it's just you will still be able to use Scompler AI. It will still be able to provide you quite some relevant information. It's just that the more you have, the more specific and the more actionable the results will be. So just for you to understand and to keep in mind.
Thanks again very much, Ilya, the mastermind behind our Scompler AI. I think it quite showed how it's working and thinking like a strategist, creating like a pro, and collaborating like a colleague. But don't take our word for it. We already have some feedback from our beta testers who have been using Scompler AI quite extensively already. This one's up here. It's coming from Oliver Dröse of Elektromaterial AG, saying, with the full picture in the background and the seamless integration in existing workflows, Scompler AI leads efficiently to better results than other tools. Another feedback's coming from a global logistics company managing communication worldwide. They stated that the excitement within the team while testing Scompler AI has been remarkably high. With around 130 users worldwide, we also see strong opportunities for the AI to help maintain better system hygiene. And you can experience that too. We've got something for you, Erik. Do you like to take over now?
Yes, thank you very much. Thanks for sharing. All right, yeah, that means Scompler AI is officially live.
Woohoo!
So yeah, from today on, you can use the full experience for free until end of January 2026 on your real strategies, workflows, and content together with your team. Try it, break it, push it, and see where it really creates added value for your daily work. A huge shout out also to the entire Scompler team on that side here at this point for two product design engineering, our customer department, sales, partner management, marketing for getting us to this launch and to this stage. And thanks also, as Max said, and I want to iterate on that, to our beta testers for really shaping Scompler AI to what it is today.
Thanks, Erik. I just have to agree. It was such a great effort from all the guys and girls at Scompler. And as I said in the beginning, I'm really proud to have this launch today for everyone of you, and you can get started with Scompler AI. Also, you see it on the slide, activate Scompler AI in your projects or visit the page to book a demo, or you can use the interaction tab here in the webinar environment. On the right side where the chat is, where the Q&A is, there's also a tab for interactions, and there you can just book a demo and find out more about Scompler AI. Back to you, Erik.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, you've seen what Scompler AI can do today. And now let's look at where we're taking it next, our AI roadmap and the product vision. Yes, what's next for Scompler AI? Imagine AI agents handling your routine tasks automatically, assigning a task in your workflow to an agent instead of a coworker. So we're freeing you to focus on strategy, creativity, and the decisions only humans can make. Or visual intelligence that finds or creates the perfect image to underline your story or cropping it to your needed format. You know best that every story is more powerful with the visual baking. And if you've already invested into building your own company LLM model, we will be able to connect it to ensure every piece of content benefits from your validated company intelligence. It's our vision of an AI that thinks like a strategist, creates like a pro, and collaborates like a colleague. But let's take a step back and have a broader view on how Scompler AI contributes to the bigger picture. To better understand that, we have to talk about the Scompler vision of the strategic communication operating system. Today, we are the leading strategic comms platform, helping teams structure work and keep messaging aligned. Next, we connect tools and data with connected intelligence. And on top, we add narrative intelligence to understand how communication is understood. All of this leads to our vision of the strategic comms OS, an intelligent layer that turns communication into business impact. To make that clear, most organizations don't suffer from a lack of content. They suffer from fragmented tools and messages that create noise instead of resonance. So the key question is, how do we overcome ineffective communication in practice and get from noise to real impact? That's where our 4 building blocks will help us to move from noise to one strategic comms OS that actually moves people. So what does audience centricity mean? We don't start with channels or topics. We start with people, and with a narrative gap between how we talk and how they experience it. We plan communication around how you want to move an audience from their current perception to your desired outcome. And we build that journey with goals, topics, and stories to get them there from A to B. To be honest, most comm stacks are a zoo of disconnected tools. With Scompler Connected Intelligence as the orchestration layer, we connect existing tools via APIs and our future marketplace. In Agentic intelligence, AI agents and automation take over routine tasks, drafting, routing, preparing content, and staying aligned with your strategy. We did a major step on that today, and there's more to come. And finally, you want to understand and track how your messages land, seeing what's resonate, what's not, and adapt in real time based on actual audience insights. And this closes the loop with our narrative intelligence. But here's the truth. You are the experts. You face these challenges on a daily basis. Your feedback shapes what we build. So stay curious and help us build the future of strategic communications. Share your challenges, share your feedback, share your vision, and together we will make communication more impactful, more visible, and secure its seats at the table.
Thank you, Erik. And I guess, Ilya, that just goes for you. You're really open for the feedback of our customers, right?
I thought that was this was really nice topic for the previous slide. Yeah, what I wanted to ask everybody as we are starting to use it more and more, please work with it. You will definitely gradually feel and see the boundaries of the current solution. And I just want to encourage you, there is an in-app functionality to provide feedback. There's like, dislike, and you can also provide more like extended text feedback. Yeah, just I would like to encourage you, please do that. Please give us this feedback. We will definitely read everything, every single one, and we will also take this into account for current improvements, for future additional capabilities. So yeah, just if I may, I'm just like personally asking you, please use it. It's very important for us, and this way we can shape this functionality together, and this will be, I think, the best thing for us, because it will solve your real problems, and we will definitely do what we're certain of. So it will be a win-win for us. So please, yeah, just.
Thank you very much, Ilya. And I can verify he does look at every message and every reaction regarding our product. So thanks, Ilya, and thanks, Erik, for also showing our vision to shape the strategic comms OS of tomorrow together with our customers. We want to help you guys and girls to get strategic clarity and align narratives and to get measurable impact. And we want to start shaping the future of communication today in a kind of a way, so to speak, because now it's time for your questions, our Q&A session. There are already many questions here in the Q&A function. Again, look on the right side. There is Q&A, or F&A in German. Use it to put in your questions. First question: does it only use Scompler AI? Does Scompler AI only use internal data, or also external sources to create? Also combined with, how about data security, where geographically is the storage of data, sensitive data as the use case? Erik, I guess if you want to take up that question, or Ilya, I don't know.
Yep, I think there were several, right, questions.
Yeah.
So first, if I understood correctly, if we talk about external data, if you mean, let's say, access to World Wide Web, so right now, no, we don't provide this capability. Maybe in the future, definitely something on the roadmap. So right now we are working with the project data and with the input that you provide. So if you provide some sort of analytics as an attachment, definitely yes. But no, for now, we do not allow it to just browse the web and extract some data from there. Not yet. This is the first thing. The second thing was about geography. So yeah. So yes, as we use AWS as our data processor, and also with our settings for Amazon Bedrock, all the information is processed within the EU region. So it never leaves it. So this is our original limitation, right?
All right.
And for sure, AWS and Bedrock are all compliant with all possible requirements to data security and encryption and everything. Yeah.
Which are several, right? There was a little question in the beginning. Also, how about the data Scompler AI uses? Just let me check real quick. Does it only use internal data or also external sources to create? That's another question.
Yeah, I think I answered it already. Depending on what we mean by external, yeah. So if it's just access to the web now, yeah. But
maybe to add on that, for sure, if you want to give more data into it, like Max did with an external briefing they've created and so on, for sure you can also upload during the conversation additional context you want to consider. Yeah, so that's definitely possible. But we don't include data from the World Wide Web yet.
Right. Thanks, guys, for clearing that up. Yeah, that's also a question about the GDPR compliance, but you also already answered that.
Yeah, we are compliant. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. We already talked about the AI model. This was an obvious question also from all the attendees, or several attendees. There's also this question about working specifically. Will it be, sorry, I'm just reading the question. Will it be possible to specify the sources the Scompler AI is using? It's kind of building upon the prior question. For instance, approved articles from last month, or in general, specifying the sources Scompler AI is using.
Also, yes, how we understand the sources, right? So if we're talking about approved or not approved articles, right now, within the default scenarios, only one case uses historical articles data. This is the scenario when we generate a text for the article, and it uses just top 5 performers. It does not have any additional logic. Is it approved? Is it not approved? It's just top 5 performers, right? So if we have, and so by default they are all published, and by default we have already collected enough performance data, right, for them. So it's the only place. Other places, just we collect, let's say, the name of the article, stuff like that, just to avoid duplication. So this is it. So probably we need to dive a little bit deeper into what you understand by that. But yeah, so basically sources are the project data. I can name specific groups, like on a high level, right? So it would be depending on the case, for sure, your strategic parameters, your like persona story, content models, content types, channels. Yeah, this would be the main sources of information. Of course, parent data. So like your parent topic, parent story.
Maybe one follow-up question for you, Ilya, and then we have a question for Erik. The follow-up question regarding the sources that are used. Does Scompler AI need very detailed data, themes, other stories, and so on, or can it be used from scratch?
Yeah, it can. Definitely, it can be used. It is not a limitation. It is just that the richer context we provide, the more specific and actionable result will be. This is just how any model work, right? So if you just talk to a generic agent, the more information you provided, the more specific and closer to what you have in mind the result would be, right? The more abstract question you provide, then the more abstract and generic the answer would be. So in this respect, yeah, we are following the logic, overall logic of general purpose models. No surprise there.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Ilya. Erik, as I said, there's a question especially for you because you talked about the roadmap for Scompler AI and our vision of the strategic comms OS. Are there plans to expand AI to the area of reporting in order to draw better conclusions about one's performance?
Yeah, great question. Yeah, so we also saw that development and use AI more and more, especially reporting to to replace manual clicking here and there and putting together filter criteria, complex building stuff, and so on. That's why we're also looking into that direction, having natural language processing to reflect AI also in analytics and reporting more. But this is a future thing we are currently looking at. Apart from that, we have also lots of ideas of, for example, summaries like daily digits in Scompler, yeah, to really bring up to the surface what's really important to the communicator, what happens during the last login, and so on and so forth. Though there are many ideas. We also had great talks in the last couple of weeks already with beta tests and also other companies. They're really leading in AI, and the sky is the limit of possible use cases you can implement. And we want to focus on that are really creating sustainable value for Scompler users and customers. Like I also saw the question from Marcus as an example. Yeah, if the corporate story and narratives are taken into account from Scompler, that's exactly what's about it, right? So that's why communicators use Scompler to reflect their whole strategy, and that's the power that Scompler AI leveraged to take all of that into account and to have a clear differentiator to all of the native AI tools as a built-in end-to-end flow.
Great. Thanks, Erik. At this point, I might suggest looking at the screen. We have a white paper regarding comms, NOI, and Scompler AI, and there you also describe our vision of communication, really, and strategic communication with Scompler and Scompler AI. Check it out. It's a real good white paper, I would say, but I'm not really objective here. I really like it. I'm proud of it, so please check it out. We have several questions. We have this upvoting system. Yeah, that's true. Like you said, Michael, we tackled most of the most relevant questions. There's one down there, like the fifth top question we didn't tackle, and it's an obvious one as well. What are the price models about the pricing?
Yeah, so first of all, every pro customer at Scompler is able to turn on the AI assistant right now, today, with a permission for themselves to activate it by consenting to the new terms of use. And that's about it. Yeah, it's free until the end of January. From 1st February on, we are going into a usage-based pricing model based on credits. This is, I would say, the standard. If you're talking about consumption-based models, and at the end, in a nutshell, the more you use, the cheaper the credits get at the end. And it's based on your usage. So we don't sell I don't know, standardized packages. We sell the demand that you need in your team. One interesting thing is to highlight, it's not bind to a specific user. So the credits are always assigned to the whole organization. So shared across all users, shared across all the projects included in your license, so to say. This makes it way more flexible, that you use unused credits from other users and so on. Because for sure we will have peaks from power users and users they are not using it and so on. So that's why we avoided to have specific limits for a user. For sure we have some recommendations we can share, what we saw in our beta tests, how many credits were used per user over the big thumb. But I guess also during the period of the trial phase now, I guess we will also gain more data and can also refine this recommendation of a credit. And if you have more questions on that, please contact your account manager. We will help them out. We will answer questions on a specific demand in more detail than as good as we can.
Thanks, Erik. I think we tackled a lot of questions. It's 4 before lunch. Most people might be hungry. There is a question, not a question, but a comment I find really interesting. Carl is saying, fingers crossed, we will not be substituted by our new teammate. How we can all set this as a strategic goal for communication experts, wink, wink emoji. And to that, I like to quote our CEO, Björn Brühl, who wrote a preface in our white paper that you can download here. And he said, as an amplifier within clear guardrails, AI offers an opportunity to make better decisions, to have more targeted impact, and to bring communication to where it belongs by the side of strategic leadership. And that I would take as the final word about Scompler AI. But as also the year is kind of ending and we're in the last phases of 2025, time's flying, lunch is called. But let us take a second here to thank you all for joining this webinar today. We hope the session gave you valuable insights and practical impulses for your work. We tried to answer many or most of the most relevant questions you guys had. If something is unclear, there are ways to get in touch with us, obviously. You have the interaction tab here. You can, or you will find a way to contact us, and we're very happy to talk more and in more detail about Scompler AI and get you ready to test Scompler AI. We'll share the recording and the presentation with you, obviously, of this webinar. But again, since the year is coming to an end, let me say on behalf of the entire Scompler team, we wish you a wonderful holiday season and a strong start into the new year 2026 with strategic clarity, aligned narratives, and measurable impact. So thanks from us. Have a nice one and take care. See you soon.
Thank you very much.